Hey everyone, welcome back to our podcast. Today we're with Les. How you doing, mate?
Hey, I'm fine.
You're good?
I'm well.
Good.
It's been a great day
It's
today.
been a good day?
Good day. Looking forward to a good week.
Yeah, so we're backstage right now for our second last Honesty of Silence tour, second last stop of this November tour. We've loved it. I'm so happy you could be here. So I want to know about your life. You're a very influential person. You've done so much. If you could explain to the viewers in like a nutshell,
Wow.
what have you done?
Wow. I'm going to try and explain, sort of 40 years in a couple of seconds. Actually, I've been sort of incredibly focused on what I've been doing because I found faith, and one of the thoughts that came to my mind was, how do I make faith something that's tangible and practical? And over these years, I've been constantly seeking to do that. So when I became a minister of the church, knocked down the building and sort of rebuild, looking at nursery, looking at education, looking at sports. Then I saw things like, young people and crime and violence and all sorts of things. And I thought, what should I do about that? So I just got out there on the streets and walked amongst people, listened to them 1, 2 in the morning, in the evening, and thought, yeah, we could do something about this, and mobilize people, over 14,000 people, mobilized to get involved, go on the streets from 10 o'clock at night till 4 in the morning. Recognize that there's problems on our railway lines where people have committed suicide. Suicide is really high, so saying, okay, let's get some people on the trains, on the platform, and how we can prevent this. Look at schools, and the same thing. My heart and my vision is that if there are challenges, the question I ask myself, what can I do to contribute to alleviate challenges?
That's amazing. So, to give a bit of context, Les, you founded Street Pastors, what's a massive movement now, and I think if you're in any Christian circle, you would have had it. From what I can hear from that is, you see the problem and then you do something about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's not hard to see the problem, but it's a big step then to go, actually, I'm not going to just see it, I'm going to be part of the solution.
Yeah.
How do you have that motivation and how do you have that resources and equipment to go, I see the problem, but I'm not going to let that be the focus, I'm going to let the change be the focus?
Yeah. I think for me, first of all, I'm pragmatic about things. The second thing I realized that I'm not the only one who's seen the problem. There'll be others.
Yeah.
And the third thing I realized, find the others and form a coalition.
Wow. Yeah.
And do it together.
Yeah.
Because the challenges that we see and we face are enormous. No one person or organization could do it, but when you meet other people, and there are different parts to the problems. You guys are doing something which is quite unique. The mind, the emotion is quite unique, and that's part of it. And so we team up together and we say, how can we help each other? Some people could be seeing drugs and alcohol as a problem. How do we team up with them? Some people see young people. So for me, I see a problem, but I see solutions around me as well. I met an old woman the other day. She was 79 when she began to train as a street pastor. She was age 79. At 83, she's training to be a school pastor.
Wow.
So I'm seeing our grandparents as part of the solutions.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that, it's easy to be pessimistic.
Yeah.
I've chosen the challenge one, to be optimistic.
Yeah.
And I think people need to be thinking, hey, there are opportunities out there. Let's find the people and let's do it with them.
Amazing. So this week on the podcast, we're looking at anger. How would you describe anger and that emotion of anger? What would you say is the description of it, and what would you view about it?
It's interesting because when I was a kid, when I was a young guy, anger was part of my lifestyle. I was a very angry kid, and often we're angry because of events that has taken place in our lives. And, it was interesting because I used to swear a lot. Man, you do something, you look at me the wrong way, I've snapped.
Yeah.
I was destructive. And so I realized that these things come about because of some events, some trauma in our lives that really impact us and make us become defensive. It was interesting because just before I became a Christian, I was on the verge. I was so angry to kill my father. I was on the verge of doing that. And I was so angry, I was going to go and buy a cutlass, and I was going to go home, and heaven knows, you know, what could have happened to me. But that all came out of this sense of anger, frustration, and a willingness to pacify my anger in terms of doing something that was very detrimental. And so I say to people, anger comes about because of some event in our lives. And I had to really confront those events to really help me to go the opposite, where it's not anger, now it's peace.
Okay, so how would you go? How do you take that step from being angry to being very, very peaceful? How have you taken a step from planning to kill your father to now being head of street pass and being head of everything you're doing?
It's interesting. I'll go back a step before that, because I knew I was an angry guy. In school, college, I was angry, and I tried to patch that up with everything. So I smoked drugs. I became a Rasta because I was searching for peace and love. And people do that in life. You know, they look for all kinds of things that they believe would help them to sort of dampen or consume that anger. But it was interesting because when I became, or just before I became a Christian, it was a confrontation with the gospel. Somebody met me and spoke about another kind of violence. Jesus on the cross. You know, it was violence that put him on the cross. Right? And he had to absorb all of that violence and aggression. And he talked about Jesus actually absorbed that for me. And it was interesting because 3 days later, I found myself asking the question, look, God, who are you? And if you're real, why don't you come into my life? Because there was a sense that I need some of this peace. And it was interesting because from the moment that happened to me, it was as if, I remember, you know, I used to smoke, you know, weed all the time. That went. My tolerance levels went up. Not all of it, but it went up 85%. The fact that, you know, I wasn't snappy, you know, I would have more patience, I wasn't aggressive. And so for me, from that kind of thing, where I was angry as a kill my dad, to, hey, hold on a minute, you know, what's going down? And over a period of years, you know, I just find that, hey, it's not angry no more. I don't swear at people. You know, I don't flip the lid. You know, there's more grace, there's more capacity to tolerate people. So for me, that was a powerful transaction. And that's why I'm very passionate about Jesus and the gospel, because it does something to us historically. It heals the pains of the past, but it does something to us now. The emotion and the hurts and the pains that we carry, Peter puts in a wonderful way in the scripture, cast all your cares upon him because he cares for you. And what I came to experience was Jesus is able to absorb that, plus the discipleship in church, someone talking to me about all these other things, plus the relationship people modeling. And it's important that people help you to understand what God has done in your life, but what he's continuing to do, and to show you how that works out.
So people here watching could be struggling with anger. How would you give advice to them going, you can overcome this, or you can sort this out? Would it be tips about how then sort out the anger? Or would you say, let's look deep and look at the root and what is the cause of the anger, and then look at that?
I would say it's really important for us, first of all, to acknowledge that there's something wrong. Because there's always a challenge for us to justify our actions. And I went through that phase of justifying my anger. But then I looked at it and realized, well, actually, this is not right. Because I'm hurting someone. I'm hurting people. And more often, we not only hurt ourselves, but we hurt people around us in terms of our response, our behavior, and some of the destructive things that we can do. So I would say, look at yourself, examine, recognize that you've been hurt, and your experience has brought you to the stage of being very easily snapped and angry. Look at yourself. Then secondly, I think, it's about acknowledging, but secondly saying, I need help. I need help. My help came from when I went on my knees and said, look, God, help me. You know, that was the first step for me. Help me. Help me to get rid of this anger. Help me to get rid of, you know, my attitude. And I think that if we acknowledge, if we recognize that we need help, then I think as a Christian I can say, well, why don't you talk to God about it? Not only talk to God, but ask God to help bring some people in your life that you could have the confidence to talk through, work through those kind of anger that you have within you.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what we've realised at Kintsugi, how with a lot of these problems and a lot of this mental health stuff, it's so much more easier to sort these situations out with a community, with a hub, with a family, and I think that's one of the most powerful things is when we realise the power of community and how much can be healed through the openness and vulnerability of the community. It really creates a lot safer place for us to be in. Would you agree with that?
You know, it's interesting because there's a quote that says, "No man is an island." And you know, so often when I meet folks and people talk about their anger or talk about their trauma, they've tried to keep it within themselves. And they carry it within themselves rather than recognize it. But actually, I do have a problem, but there are people around me who would hear me, who would seek to understand me, who I could unpack some of this too. And you know, I found it very helpful when I became a Christian, that I was part of a community who was actually really deeply, you know, they cared for me. They were concerned for me, and they really wanted to help me. And I think for me, the message of community, the message of, hey, we're together in this together. Let's be honest, all of us have, you know, I may be struggling with anger, and I did struggle with anger, but someone is, it could be alcohol, it could be all kind of things. But the reality is, we've got a whole heap of people around us, you know, that we could share it with.
That's so good. Well, mate, thank you so much for coming to the podcast. You've said some absolute gold stuff in this past 10-15 minutes. We really appreciate you supporting us. Is there anything the viewers can pray for you?
I think for me, people could always pray, because I relish people praying for me. The challenge for me is that there are so many different things that are happening in society. And sometimes, somebody said to me once, can you ever divorce yourself from some of the problems and the challenges? And I said, how can I? I'm a human being. And my human being says, I've got to empathize. And I would say, pray for me that God would help me to carry this burden. Because for me, I love people, so just like Jesus, just like you guys, you just love people. But when you're giving yourself to help people, it can drain your time. And so prayers that the Lord would give me the strength would be number one for me.
Amazing, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
It's a pleasure.
And we'll chat to you soon. Take care. See you guys. Bye.